All right. Well, hello. I want to thank you all for joining these sessions. I appreciate UMash and how they're trying to find alternative ways to disseminate much needed information during this time of lockdown. My name is Rich Tunell, and I'm the Rural Mental Health Program Coordinator for Lake Superior Community Health Center. What a huge title. But basically it means that I'm here to help farmers in northeastern to central side of Minnesota with their mental health. And if I'm contacted by someone in Wisconsin, I will also follow up with them. It's a fully funded program by the Millard Wan Foundation in Duluth, Minnesota, which means there's no cost to visit with farmers or their families. I'll meet them wherever and whenever they are most comfortable. And that could be spending time on the farm, at their house, or even a coffee shop. With this program, there is no insurance paperwork, so there is no diagnosing for mental illness. It is just centered on mental health and being a third party that is willing to listen and offer ideas for better communication, handling tough situations, and lessening anxiety and depressive moods. So who am I? Well, I grew up in Superior, Wisconsin. My folks own the A&W restaurant there. So I have an understanding of what a family-run business that struggles financially and is dependent on weather is like. I understand the feeling of pride, ownership, and the need to contribute wherever you can to make it all work. I did not take over the business. I went into the Air Force for 4 years and then into IT for the next 25. I loved technology when I started, but as I worked with people, the more I enjoyed just helping them. I went back to school and got my master's in counseling, which led me to this position. When I was looking for a topic for this expo, the first thing that popped into my mind was don't upset the apple cart, because I feel that is exactly what has happened to the world right now. Looking at the definition, it reads, to spoil carefully laid plans, and it has been used since the Roman times. There. I was reminded the other day that if you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans. Well, I feel that is exactly what I did. I accepted this position in February 2020. I was going to start on March 23rd, and they had several county fairs and other appearances lined up for me to go to. But as you know, that was the start of the lockdown for most of us. All the fairs were canceled, restaurants closed, schools going online. It was a huge upset for my apple cart. And talking to farmers, it was a huge upset for them as well. The whole production line stopped. Schools and restaurants counted for a lot of their produce consumers. Then COVID hit some of the major packing plants and they were shut down. And I know their apple cart is upset. So how can we prepare for this? We can't predict or prepare for every possible situation. That is impossible. There are things we can have in place that will make the unpredictable more in our control. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Why is change hard? One of the major reasons we struggle with change and why it can result in cognitive dissonance is the element of uncertainty. Uncertainty is the enemy of our biological impulses. Our brain doesn't like the odds of equations with unknown variables, so it defaults to a negative bias for safety. A study showed that in people who are uncertain, 75% of the people mispredict when bad things are going to happen. Dr. Srini Pillai explains the uncertainty biases the brain to expect the worst. That doesn't mean that change is great and you should expect the best, but you should recognize that your brain will go into an automatic negative bias. To help with the uncertainty that's causing the brain to fire its stress responses, level the playing field with neutral self-talk phrases such as uncertainty simply means I don't know what the future holds. It does not mean that the future is bad. There are so many different kinds of changes in life. Some are expected and can be planned for, such as graduations, having a baby, or retirement. Most of these are happy circumstances, and you wouldn't want to miss them. Personally, My son was just married this past weekend, and talk about trying to adapt during these times. Talk to someone who has been planning a wedding for over a year during this time. After several iterations, they made it work. I also have another son that is telling me I'm going to be a grandfather in February. These are all changes. Some come without warning, like a sudden illness, accident, or even COVID. Many experience many of these life-altering moments in their lifetime. The idea behind the serenity prayer is a good place to start taking control. And that is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, have the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Sometimes it's all too easy to become fixated on events over which we have no power, or people who might never change their actions or attitudes. But rather than focus on blaming others or moving the unmovable, you need to set your sights on what you can control, to evaluate take responsibility for in this situation. When you look for opportunities to empower yourself and work towards change that is possible, you're less likely to feel stuck in difficult situations. Stop thinking so much. So many times we just ruminate on issues that we feel are overwhelming us. We need to ground ourselves to the present. While it's important to look to the past to find your strength, sometimes you can feel too pulled into the future. When you worry about the future will bring or what mistakes you might make, you forget to be in the present and observe what's happening around you. To bring yourself back to the present, get in tune with your body. Pay attention to how it responds to stress, and set aside time every day to relax, take some deep breaths, and bring focus back to the present. We also need to unplug. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in what is on social media or the news that we start getting pulled into a very negative state. It's good just to unplug for a while and look around at all the things that we have that are good, including family, health, life, and friends, to name a few. Sometimes we just need to take a walk, read a book, or call an old friend and see how they're doing. How to manage stress. Regardless of how the changes in your life happen, the mere experience of the event can change you profoundly, and this needs to be considered when you're going through it. You should not just stuff down your emotions and hope they go away. Have an understanding of what you are feeling and find ways to deal with these emotions. When you breathe deeply, exercise, meditate, you can activate the hormones in your body that lower your stress level. Stress can be good. It can be a motivator, but too much stress can hold you hostage and keep you stuck in a place that you don't want to hang out in. Use stress as a challenge to overcome the event, not to overwhelm you. Remember the past, because you have made it through it. Think back over the past events that you have made it through. Give yourself credit and know that you have the resilience to do it again. Remember the past and how you experienced various events is a great way to help you with the present. We might not have done it the best way in the past, and now might be the time to modify the plan to make it better. The main point is that you did it then, and you can do it again. Plan for change. Although there is so much you can control when it comes to life change, there is some benefit in planning for change that is inevitable. Feeling prepared can lower your stress and keep your emotions in check. Create a checklist of things you want to do when something major happens. Can help you and help those who are there to help you through whatever the event may be. Develop an emergency packet with all your important information, where the information is located, including user IDs, passwords, wills, power of attorney, information on the house or farm, all these type of documents. Keep your finances in check. Have enough liquid finances that you can go around 3 months without any income. Try to reduce your debt as much as possible so you won't need as much liquid assets. Reduce your monthly bills for the same reason. And if things are going well right now, at least have a list of things to cut out if you fall on hard times. Take care of you. Self-care is an old standard, but an important one. Don't forget the importance of self-care, including maintaining a regular schedule, eating healthy, sleeping enough, and exercising. Often with major changes, self-care goes right out the window. It can help to choose one thing each and every day that you do just for you and your well-being. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. And I want to reiterate a couple of things because it's all about preparing and the presentation you have in your own mind. So first, finances. Keep a handle on spending and increasing your savings for a rainy day. Information. Have important documents, period. Many of us might not consider having a will or a living will on what to do when you can't make decisions for yourself, but these are very important. You need to know where these documents are, and someone else needs to know as well. Self-care, super important. When we go through our daily lives, we need self-care, and the better the habits we have going into stressful events, the more prepared we are to handle them. Remember to have a good understanding of mindfulness, eating and drinking in a healthy manner, time away to relax, and exercise. Support. Know who you can turn to for support. Even if you do an occasional checkup with a counselor, just like you would a medical doctor, wouldn't be a bad idea. That way, when something happens, they're already aware of your background information and you have a relationship with them. If you know someone that is struggling, you need to be the one that speaks up and that you care enough to let them know how to seek help. Be flexible. Know that you have been through these events in the past and you are resilient to take on the ones in the present. You also need to be flexible, not just pull out the status quo on how to handle situations, but be flexible and listen to others. Advice on what you can do and manage what you are going through, but improve it for the future. I hope this helped with the idea of ways to handle the unexpected when your apple cart is tipped over. Thank you.